Good Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome to Start, Sit, Different Day. It's Saturday. Normally, you don't see my face first thing, but everybody else was busy, so you get me for the whole kit and caboodle. Today, we have guests from the East Coast to literally the West Coast and nowhere in between, because that's where they're at. So, Start, Sit, Different Day. We'll see you in a minute. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Like I said, this is Start, Sit, Different Day. There's some faces that you probably recognize. George, unmute yourself. Good God. We were
I'm
doing
noisy,
so well.
Myself.
You're doing so well, and then you're like stepping all over my toes. Usually the boys do that, but they're not here. So, off to a great start.
Trying to carry on the tradition.
Great start. Apparently somebody has to. Okay, everybody. That is George. That is Bo. Faces you probably recognize. George is here in Florida with me. Bo is all the way over in California. But it's okay because they know how to party. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, good morning.
We doing okay today? Bo, are you awake?
Bo literally got out of bed and ran over
Bo
to his
rolled
desk,
out of bed, did his hair.
I did not do my hair. This is how I woke up.
That's pretty impressive then.
Yeah. I do need to brush my beard out though, because there's probably lint and fuzz in there.
I don't have one of those, so I don't have to worry about that.
I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, so you just wake up this way.
You just wake up this way. What kind of dogs do you have?
Border Collie Australian Shepherd. So energetic, psychotic, anxious, but very attached. So yeah, you're always in a constant state. Yeah, constant state of get off of me.
I still live with my best friends, and they have 2 golden doodles, and they're very much like that. They're very needy, and it's like, go away, personal space.
But come back. I want to pet your face.
Yeah, right. But you're so cute right now. George, do you have any animals?
I have 1 cat and 3 dogs.
Good Lord, what kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 pits, and I have a pit blackmouth cur mix.
So you have a bunch of dangerous dogs.
Oh, they are. I mean, listen, you break into my house.
Cuddly.
My pit will lick you to death. He will just lick your face right off.
Yeah, if you need somebody if you need a dog to live in your pocket and whine, that would be a pit bull, right?
Yep, absolutely. That's all that they do.
That's always it always amuses me when people are like, pit bulls are so dangerous. First of all, pit bulls are only dangerous if you train them to be that way. If you don't, they're like giant lapdogs.
Yeah. Pit bulls are like kids. They could be dangerous if you don't train them the right way.
Pretty sure it's just the humans that are dangerous.
Yes.
And inflicting their thoughts on the puppers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, speaking of thoughts and humans being dangerous, there might be some people that you were planning on starting, but you won't get to because they might not play. So for our injuries this week, there are no quarterbacks of note that are out. Obviously, you know who is on the IR already. However, Trevor Lawrence and Derek Carr are both questionable. For your running backs, the only 2 that are officially out are Isaiah Pacheco and Jonathan Taylor. However, there are quite a few who are questionable. Travis Etienne, Raheem Mostert, Breece Hall, Aaron Jones, Zach Charbonnet, A.J. Dillon, Kenneth Walker III, and Samaje Perine. Sorry, Julia Papworth. Sorry, the Joey Wright. Prayers to you if he doesn't play. Your wide receivers who are out, Josh Palmer and Christian Kirk, who is apparently headed to the IR. And then, again, there are 8 who are questionable. Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Amari Cooper, Jaden Reed, Noah Brown, Christian Watson, Tyler Boyd, and Rashid Shaheed. Say that 5 times fast.
No.
No, thanks. I'm good. Your tight ends who are out: Dalton Schultz and Hayden Hurst. Tyler Higbee is doubtful. And then Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson, Tommy Tremble, and Dawson Knox are all questionable. And kickers, because they are people too, pay attention to Houston. Fairburn needs to be activated today. Otherwise, Matt Amendola will kick again. And then Blake Group is questionable. Fun times.
It's a bloodbath out there.
Oregon says, or Woods Girl says, Oregon shout out to NorCal.
Shout out.
All right. Questions. Caesar wants to know CEH or McKinnon. George.
I'm going CEH. I think McKinnon will have a role in the passing game, but he hasn't really had much of a role all season. I know they said at the beginning of the year they kind of want to limit his touches, keep him fresh for the end of the year. Maybe there's an opportunity he has an end of the year resurgence like he did last year, and he ends up being a solid running back 2 almost every week for you. But a lot of that's going to be touchdown dependent. I'm just not going to take the risk with McKinnon. I'd much rather go CEH. He's going to fill right in for the Isaiah Pacheco role, and he's also working for a contract. So he's an unrestricted free agent after this year. This is going to be an opportunity for him to show that he still has a little juice and that he was worthy of a first-round draft pick. So I'm going to go CEH. He's got even more to play for.
All right, Bo.
CEH is not a very good football player. That's why he doesn't have a contract right now. And last time I checked, it's getting closer to the equinox, or not the equinox, the solstice. And as we approach the solstice, we approach Jerick McKinnon season. Last year, we didn't think anything of Jerick McKinnon about this time, and about this time, Pacheco had been doing a pretty good job, and his role continued to grow, even despite what we saw from Pacheco last year at the end of the year. We saw even more from Jerick McKinnon, who has been a great football player for many, many years. He's been kind of an afterthought this year. I think they're kind of been preserving him like a jar of marmalade. I think that they're going to unleash Jerick McKinnon because they cannot trust, and they should not trust, Clyde Edwards-Helaire to do really anything because he's not good. You can't use CEH on the goal line. He doesn't score touchdowns. He's too small. He's not that good of a receiver. He's not that good of a blocker. What does McKinnon do very well in all 3 of those things? So I just think that we're discounting McKinnon because he hasn't done anything yet this year, when in reality we just saw it last year where the team trusts their vets down the stretch, especially in a season like this where they've struggled on offense.
I just want to know, how often do you eat orange marmalade?
At least once a year.
Because you said they're preserving him like a jar of orange marmalade. Not any sort of other jarred preserves or any jarred object, but orange marmalade.
Yeah, it's easier to preserve marmalade because the people eat jelly more frequently than they eat marmalade.
You know why nobody eats orange marmalade? Because it's not very gross. Good. Yes. He compared Jerick McKinnon to a very gross bottle of
orange marmalade.
He was good at one time, okay?
Oh my God.
His jar is getting dusty, right?
Oh, there might be a little dust on the bottle.
Oh, that's a good song.
I was about to say that.
All right, Woods Girl, in a 10-man PPR, are you taking Keaton Mitchell or Jerick McKinnon? Oh, thank you for getting up earlier than usual. We appreciate that.
I like Woods Girl already.
She was your Oregon shout out to NorCal. So
Yep.
All right, Mitchell or McKinnon, George?
I'm going Keaton Mitchell here, but it's a very bad matchup with the Rams. The Rams allow a league low 20 receiving yards a game. No running back has topped 48 rushing yards, receiving yards in the game against the Rams since the Week 10 bye a couple weeks ago. The defense for the Rams is playing better. I trust Keaton Mitchell to break a big play more so than I trust Jerick McKinnon.
Bo.
Completely agree. And Keaton Mitchell actually is the kind of back that has given the Rams fits earlier in the season before they were doing really well. His speed is unbelievable. Like it's, I think it was Lamar Jackson. They asked Lamar Jackson how fast Keaton Mitchell was, and they said that if he had run the 40 at the combine without a sore toe, he would have been in the 4.2s. That means that what we've seen on the field is elite speed, and probably not even his best speed yet. That's how fast Keaton Mitchell is. And from when I look back to his East Carolina tape last year, he's got football speed. It's not just like straight line 40-yard dash in spandex speed. This guy's got real elite football speed. His agility's good. He doesn't drop the ball, which is nice because he's a scat back. It's like, no, he's just a running back who happens to be fast. And so you can't really pigeonhole him into a role because he can do it all. And I think that the Ravens backfield, even next year when they're healthy again, they're going to have to account for how good this kid is. So I think Keaton Mitchell could have a huge game on Sunday, where in McKinnon's case, I think you're hoping he cracks double digits. I don't think there's any worry at all that Keaton Mitchell does against the Rams.
All right, there you go. Kincaid or Goddard, George?
I love that I get to go first every single time. I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid.
There we go.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
My bad.
The Cowboys are actually a really good team against opposing tight ends. The Cowboys average just 4 receptions and 45 yards a game for opposing tight ends. No tight end has topped 5 catches, on the season against the Cowboys. Top that off, Dallas Goedert coming back from a broken forearm. I'm not really wanting to trust him. It should be a high-scoring game. At least we suspect it will be. But I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid. I just think the matchup is a much better matchup for him against Kansas City.
Oh.
Disagree.
Cool.
So Dalton Knox is back this week, which means that Dalton Kincaid goes into more of a complementary role, which is what we saw for the first half of the season when Knox was healthy. Everybody that drafted Dalton Kincaid as a tight end 1 was sorely disappointed at his usage. He was getting 50% snap rates for the first 7 weeks of the year when Dawson Knox was healthy. And even Khalil Shakir was taking preferential slot snaps away from Dalton Kincaid. Yes, he has earned a little bit more, but Dallas Goedert broke his forearm against Dallas a few weeks ago, and he wanted to come back sooner because it was a hairline fracture in his forearm. He wanted to come back. He wanted to wrap it up and play, and he's especially going to have a little extra something for Dallas since that was the team that broke his arm in the first place. The division rivalry, Dallas doesn't really cover tight ends as well as they cover everybody else. They're kind of middle of the pack in the league versus top 10 everywhere else on defense. I think Dallas Goedert has a little something extra for the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And I don't think Dalton Kincaid goes back to his tight end 1 form now that his counterpart is back on the field.
See, I look at a lot of that is Dalton Kincaid's a rookie just coming in. We all know rookies tend to start slow. It's going to take a while for them to get acclimated to the NFL, much like it takes a jar of orange marmalade to get acclimated to collecting all that dust in your pantry. So I think Dalton Kincaid has earned the reps. I can't see them cutting his production for Dawson Knox. He's just outplayed. I mean, he's Josh Allen's second.
Maybe Sean McDermott thinks, I'm on the hot seat because all these weeks, Dawson Knox, my guy Dawson Knox has been on the shelf, and I've been losing ball games, and now me, Sean McDermott, can't even make a correlation between a motivational speech. I can't reach this team because Knox isn't here. What do you say we go back to old reliable here and we start winning some ball games, because that was the catalyst. Yeah, I think Sean McDermott's not a very smart coach. He's a very conservative coach. This could be really alarming for those Dalton Kincaid managers.
If Dawson Knox is the reason why the Buffalo Bills couldn't win a game and they're 6-6, Sean McDermott should be fired for that, not what he said about
I agree.
Certain communication skills. I'm just going to leave it at
that. It should be.
Lord have mercy. Speaking of Dallas Goedert, Angie wants to know, are you rolling with Isaiah Likely or Dallas Goedert tomorrow? George.
I love how I get to go first every single time.
I love being the counterpuncher. That's the fun part.
I'm going with Isaiah Likely here. The Rams give up the second most yards and the sixth most touchdowns to opposing tight ends on the season. It's a smash start for Isaiah Likely.
Oh.
Not bloody likely. I mean, I like Isaiah Likely as a prospect, but what has he done since Mark Andrews went out? Absolutely nothing. This Ravens team, it's really good. It's loaded. Both sides of the ball are killing it. Yeah, it's a great matchup. 28th against tight ends. I'm pulling up his game log here. Oh, wow. He had 4 for 40 last game before the bye week. That's impressive. I would love to take my 8 PPR points to the bank, especially when Dallas Goedert loves playing against the Cowboys and has that extra vendetta I just mentioned a bit ago. Yeah, don't fall for the good matchup trap, because Isaiah Likely is not a likely big part of this offense, even if it's a good matchup.
The puns, they are
flowing.
Chris wants to know, in a full PPR, I'm guessing he's asking who to start at flex. Raheem Mostert, Breece Hall, Cooper Kupp, or Zay Flowers. George.
Only one of these guys leads the leagues in rushing touchdowns or receiving touchdowns, and it's Raheem Mostert. Got to play him this week against very bad. Who are the Dolphins playing? I'm a Dolphins fan. I don't even remember who they were playing this week.
I mean, I would say, how do you not know that? But as a Patriots fan,
it's the Titans.
I just stopped paying attention.
Monday night Titans game. You
gotta go Raheem Mostert. Cooper Kupp hasn't had more than 50 yards since he came back. He's dealing with 2 ankle sprains. Breece Hall, listen, he's facing like 100 in the box because their quarterback can't throw the ball more than 3 yards. Doesn't matter who they put back there. And what has Zay Flowers done since like week 3? You've got to go Raheem Mostert here. He's going to be a smash start.
What has Zay done for me lately?
Yeah, it's a sad truth. I'm gonna start Cooper Kupp, and I don't know that it's for any reason other than the Titans' run defense is nasty. They're the reason I full faded Zach Moss to great success last week. Breece Hall's still not healthy. We don't know if Breece Hall's really going to play that much in this game. I like Breece Hall as a player above all these guys, but with the injury situation here, Kupp we actually saw him score a touchdown last week. Breece Hall didn't play at all last week. Zay Flowers, again, what has he done for us lately? Great player. He might be the answer to who do we play on the Ravens with that great matchup in the middle of the field, but I don't trust it. Like, when left with all these options, I'm left between Mostert and Kupp. Kupp has a better matchup here. This is going to be a very narrow funnel to Kupp and Puka Nacua. Stafford's had a great season, even though the Baltimore defense is incredibly tough. I think that they're going to be just more concentrated on their talented players. Kyron, Kupp, Nacua, get all the other guys out of there, like Ben Skoranek, Tyler Higbee, get out of here. If the Rams have any hope of beating the Ravens, they're going to have to start their studs and focus on them and feature them. Raheem Mostert, he's got this guy named Devon Achane in his way now, and that should really cap his upside. Even though he leads the league in touchdowns, he hasn't done a lot with non-touchdown plays. He scored a lot of them, 14. But I think I'll trust the guy who just won the Triple Crown 2 years ago.
The Triple Crown.
2 years ago was a long time
in the NFL now?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Joe says, speaking of Raheem Mostert, start 2, Raheem Mostert, DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, who may or may not play, and James Cook. George.
I'm sticking with Mostert. He's the number 1 running back in fantasy behind Christian McCaffrey. So he's actually his number 2 running back in fantasy. I'm not sitting him. So he's going to be my first start. And my second one, I'm leaning. Swift had such a bad game when they played Dallas last time. I'm going to go James Cook here, believe it or not. I think they're going to have to run the ball, try to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. It's a must-win game for the Bills. The odds of them making the playoffs if they lose this game are not very good. So I'm going to go Mostert and James Cook.
Ooh. I was going to agree with you, but then I just looked at what Travis Etienne was doing. He's number 3 running back on the season. And
how's he been lately? Not very good.
He's for a while there before Mostert decided to find the end zone 2 or 3 times every game. It was Etienne who had 3 consecutive multi-touchdown games, and his injury is not serious. I don't expect him to be sitting out because he had the chest contusion. He played through it. He rolled his ankle. He played through it. He looked incredibly explosive, even with the bum ankle and the wheezing chest. It didn't matter against the Bengals. He looked explosive as ever. So I'll go with number 2, Mostert, number 3, Etienne, those being the 2 best backs on this list. James Cook, I love the guy. I really, really love the guy as a prospect. It's not a big enough part of that amazing offense that seems to choke every game away. They don't use him enough in the passing game still, even with the new offensive coordinator. So I'll stick with what we know, and what we know is that Mostert has upside and that Etienne is a boss.
All right, there you go. Woods Girl is back, and she says, I have Fields starting versus the Lions, but she's got good old Jake Browning sitting on her bench.
Shout out.
Please tell me I'm making the correct choice in Fields. But just like a lot of people, she's wondering, is Jake Browning going to repeat this week his performance of last week? George.
No, you've got to start Justin Fields here. Don't chase points from Jake Browning last week. Please do not do that. It's not good for your health. It's like orange marmalade, just not good for you. Justin Fields ran for 104 yards a few weeks ago against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Lions are ranked 26th against the pass according to PFF. Lions have only given up 3 passing touchdowns. Lions have given up 3 passing touchdowns in their last 6 games. They're horrible against quarterbacks who run the ball. Lamar chopped them up, field them up. Stick with Justin Fields here. This is a good smash spot for him.
Oh,
I would agree with him all the way up to the point where if there was a better option or a worse option as a starter, like I can see what Woods Girl is doing here. She had Fields on bye. She had to pick somebody up. She followed my advice and picked up Jake Browning last week to great success. Congratulations. Jake Browning has a fantastic matchup against the Colts this week again. So I do expect Browning to approach 20 fantasy points. Unfortunately, her starting quarterback coming off the bye is Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is amazing. Like, that's not the guy you bench for any more than his bye week. Take the advice. Get Justin Fields out there again as a starter. He's got tons and tons of upside. He's probably going to rush for another 100 yards in this game because Detroit, they don't do well outdoors. They have 12 indoor games this year out of 17. This is their last game in the elements for the rest of the season. That's incredible. It's like they have one more game, and it's apparently going to be horrible weather. There's going to be a lot more running the football than throwing the football in this one. Jared Goff's going to be a shell of himself because he doesn't like when he gets wet and cold and
who
attacked.
does? Who
Right,
likes wet
exactly.
and cold,
Especially not a quarterback from Northern California where it never rains. It never rains here. It's going to be 65 and sunny again today, and it's winter. It's like,
but it's
like you guys get rain in the summer. Like I would hate that.
We got rain last week.
Yeah, I could give you a quarterback who likes to play in the cold. That's from Northern California.
If you didn't have a top 5 fantasy quarterback like Justin Fields, you would run Browning out there if you had anybody less than Justin Fields as your starter. But because you have Justin Fields, you have to start him.
Yeah. All right. Who's your quarterback, George?
Aaron Rodgers is from North Cal, who likes to play outside.
There you go.
There's 9 Hall of Fame quarterbacks from Northern California.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And Jake Browning is going to be one of them. Watch. I shouldn't have to tell you by now, but it was years ago that I already realized that Jake Browning's the best high school quarterback in the history of football. He's also the winningest quarterback in Pac-12 history. That's the Conference of Champions, by the way. It's like all these quarterbacks came from USC, UCLA, Oregon. Doesn't matter.
You know what the Conference of Champions is?
We're talking about all sports. Yeah. No, Pac-12 has won more championships across all athletics by a mile.
All athletics by a mile. Don't matter. We're talking football here, Bobo.
Okay. But I'm just saying Jake Browning, out of all those quarterbacks, won more games.
Good for him. So my favorite friend of the show this season is Jelly of the Month, because every time I see this name, I just think Jelly of the Month Club.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Exactly. Unless you get marmalade, in which case nobody wants that.
That's November. November is the marmalade.
That's my birth month. I don't want orange marmalade for my birthday. What the heck?
I'll hang up and let you guys talk.
Rude, Bo. Anyway, I would rather have apple butter than orange marmalade.
Ooh, yum. I love
right? Butter. So Jelly landed a bye in one of their leagues, and they're looking for a week 16-17 defense. Currently, they have Miami, but there's tough matchups for the rest of the season. Would you keep Miami, or would you pick up the Colts versus the Falcons and then the Raiders to finish out their seasons, George?
I'm a Miami fan, big time fan. They are rough matchups. I would probably go with the Colts versus a putrid Falcons who has a coach who doesn't really know how to use his good players, and the Raiders who at that point were probably looking forward to the offseason.
Oh.
Yeah, if you have a good defense, Miami is a good defense. They're especially good since Jalen Ramsey came back. Losing Jalen Phillips sucked, but they got Andrew Van Ginkel playing out of his mind in his stead. I'm keeping the Dolphins because even a tough matchup for a good defense doesn't usually cost them a lot of fantasy points. If you play a bad defense like the Colts, even in a good matchup, the Falcons every once in a while rush for 250 yards and never turn the ball over. So I'm not expecting sacks or very many turnovers against the Falcons. And the Raiders, every third week, Aiden O'Connell goes ballistic because he realizes that I have Devontae Adams on my team. Maybe I should throw it to 17. Yeah, and yeah, be that as it may, it's a better matchup for the Colts, but the Colts defense sucks. Like, it's so bad.
They are bad.
They can't force turnovers. They can't get sacks. I'm looking for fantasy points. If I'm streaming a defense, I'm looking for the team that can actually get points. And the Miami defense, even against tough teams, they can force turnovers. They can get sacks. I'm not getting cute here. Yeah, I'm going to keep the real upside and floor and not just pray that the Colts figure out how to play defense all of a sudden against bad offenses.
But Bo convinced me to just change from Miami. And Miami is going to get – I just didn't want to be a homer in my pick either. But they
yeah, the homer pick was right.
For the first time in history, they are a very good defense. They will get pressure, and I think they're like one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league in sacks currently. So,
all right. Speaking of defense, Caesar wants to know, would you play the Houston defense at the Jets? Or would you rather play the Browns versus Jacksonville, the 49ers versus Seattle, the Ravens versus the Rams, or the Dolphins versus Tennessee? George.
First off, I'm wondering if this is a DFS question, because there's no way, A, all these defenses are available, and B, if they like, are they all on your team? Are they all on waivers? Like, what kind of league is this?
Oh.
Yeah, right. If it's a DFS, I'm going to need some pricing. I'll have to look it up real quick. Because I wouldn't have any problem playing any of these defenses, right? They're all great matchups. They're all going to do pretty well.
On paper, give me the 49ers versus Seattle. I mean, the best defense in the league. Not good.
He says he doesn't roster all of them. It's across multiple leagues.
He's cherry picking. I like that. It's good style.
Okay, so no, I wouldn't start the Houston over any of those.
No, I would say Niners, unless if they're gonna sit Trevor Lawrence, then I'll play the Browns with CJ Beathard going there. That would be the smart choice. But 49ers versus Seattle, especially when Geno is a game time decision. If Geno doesn't play and it's Drew Lock, then you should be salivating. Like don't salivate away from your device screen, because you might short it out from all that drool. Because Drew Lock against the Niners defense, that might be an explosion of points.
An explosion of points, as long as it's not an explosion of orange marmalade. Quincy Johnson, start one. Roshan, Zach Charbonnet, or CEH?
Yeah, I'm going CE. I'm going CEH here. I can't. Kenneth Walker's back, so him Charbonnet are going to split. Roshan Johnson currently splitting touches with Devonta Foreman and Khalil Herbert, so it's like a three-way split there. And not only that, but their matchup is not a very good one. The last time they played the Lions, no running back topped 35 rushing yards, and the Lions only give up an average of 65 rushing yards a game. They're number 2 against opposing runners in the NFL. Give me Hilaire here. I think he's got an opportunity to punch one in, even though Bo doesn't think he gets goal line touches.
He does. He just doesn't do anything with them.
I know.
It would be against their better judgment. It would be against Andy Reid's better judgment to use him on the goal line.
They didn't use him on the goal line in college.
They shouldn't have. He's shorter than my daughter, who's turning 11. For me, it's Charbonnet. I think Ken Walker, even though he's going to be back, he's still not 100%. He's still not, like, his game is lateral movement, but finding a crease in a defense that overcommits to a lane. Charbonnet's really good the last couple weeks, like really good. This guy's got thumping power. He can catch. He can block. He's going to keep earning more and more snap share. I agree with you on the Bears regard that three-way split is not appealing for fantasy. CEH, not appealing for fantasy. I just have to go with the guy who at least will be in a 50-50 split instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a 50-50 split in an offense that never runs the ball, and Roshan, who's in a 33-34 split, which we don't know who's going to be the guy any given week, and it's a bad matchup. So give me Charbonnet, but I feel bad for Quincy because this is the common refrain of zero RB drafter who also found injuries everywhere else.
Bo, so are you convinced that Charbonnet will play this week? Because he's currently questionable.
Yeah, they're all questionable. At this stage, if you don't have a Q tag on you, you haven't been playing football.
Or you're already on the IR.
Right.
All right. Back to defense. Agent Z. Don't push the red button. Or I went Men in Black. Wants to know, are you playing the Packers or the Saints? George.
Last time I checked, the New Orleans Saints are playing the Carolina Panthers. So I will go with the team playing the worst team in the NFL.
Yes, the Saints are playing the Panthers.
Yeah, and that's an easy one. Saints pretty easily. I agree with George. I agreed with him. See, I can be a non-contrarian.
Yeah. The Packers are playing the Giants Monday night.
Yes. Giants are better than the Packers.
Tommy Cutlets, man. He's been impressive.
Tommy Cutlets. All right, Angie says, shout out NorCal. Garrett Wilson or Jordan Addison this week? George.
I'm not playing Garrett Wilson. So first off, the weather there is supposed to be horrible. They're expecting torrential downpour. So not only do you have inept quarterback play, now you're also fighting the elements. I'm sorry. Give me Jordan Addison. He should be seeing the secondary CB now with Justin Jefferson back. So it's a good opportunity. He should be seeing coverage by a guy by the name of Jack Jones. Sounds like a guy that Bo met over at the steakhouse the other day as he was getting his prime rib.
Yeah, Jack Jones actually is a created character in NBA 2K4. we don't actually know if he can play football.
See, Jack Jones just sounds more of like a musician to me. A hipster type, wears a beanie even though it's 85 degrees outside.
Definitely.
Hey, that's my son.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't know.
Weather confused. We call them weather confused.
Miss Tootsie Pop wants to know.
I don't get to weigh in on that one.
Oh.
Especially for Angie from my shout out NorCal. Also shout out Scott Fishbowl 13 Roundtable Pizza Division. This is a good I-division. Angie's killing it this year. So yeah, shout it out, and I'll go Jordan Addison as well. So you can move on. I wanted to give Angie a little bit more airtime.
Did either of you make the playoffs in Scott Fishbowl?
We both did, I think.
Yep.
Well, Lottie frickin' da for you.
Well, Lottie frickin' da.
It was my first time in 4 tries.
It was my second time making the playoffs, and I finished 10th overall on the season. And I lost and I got eliminated last week. It was fantastic.
I got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by less than a point. It was amazing.
Wow. I did not make the playoffs.
I missed the
I'm in the semifinals last year. Didn't even sniff the playoffs this year. And I didn't have a terrible team.
My first 8 draft picks all went on IR by the midseason. It was the Dak Burrow year. It was 2020. So yeah, Scott Fishbowl 10 started with Dak and Burrow and Mixon, and everybody got hurt. So I was screwed.
Oof. Yeah, my starting QB was Joe Burrow, so that was fun for a while. I went with the Burrow T Higgins. Like I went with a triple stack from Cincinnati. It's great unless they're all hurt or on a bye week. Okay, now we're back to Rachel. It's a you pick 2 today, boys. Thielen, Godwin, or Gus Edwards. So who aren't you starting, George?
I don't think I'm starting Gus Edwards. The matchup is not very good. Adam Thielen, the last time he played the Saints, he actually had a pretty decent game. Saints are 9th worst against opposing slot wide receivers. Last time they played, Adam Thielen had 7 receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Not counting on him to get a touchdown this week, but I think the targets, the receptions, and the yards will be there. And I'm going to go with Godwin. He has not been very good. The matchup with Edwards is his snap share has gone down. Keaton Mitchell's snap share. Gus Edwards is completely touchdown dependent at this point, and I'm not going to try to trust that he's going to fall forward into the end zone.
Bo.
I'll give a shout out to Chuck Bass on Twitter, who yesterday tweeted out that so Chuck Bass tweeted yesterday something that really resonated with me. Very dark, but he said that Adam Thielen sounds like his father because he showed up for 6 weeks and then just didn't come back. So the answer for me is Chris Godwin and Gus Edwards. I'll take the touchdown dependency. He's been touchdown dependent his whole career. It's been paying off this year. So yeah, Adam Thielen, like a ghost in the night, showed as a nice little whisper, and then went out for a carton of milk, and you know the rest.
Listen, it's the holiday season. Daddy's home.
Well, I mean, every Christmas movie is about a father who doesn't spend any time with his kids, and so I mean,
that's not true.
This time of year,
that's not true. The greatest Christmas movie ever. The greatest Christmas movie ever. Die Hard. It's about an estranged father trying to get home on the holidays.
You said estranged father. He was an example on that.
Yeah,
estranged father.
He was
because he's let her alone for 15 years.
On today's episode of Family Therapy, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Daddy issues.
Yes or
it
no?
Is. Of course it is.
Bruce Willis himself said it wasn't.
Well, that's okay. The guy who created it said it was.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce Willis. It's sad. All right. Mike wants to know in a PPR, are you flexing Drake London or Romeo Dubs? Jorge.
I think this really depends if Christian Watson plays or not. If Christian Watson plays, I'm going to go with Drake London. But if he doesn't, I think I'm going to take my chance with Romeo Dubs.
Bo.
I'll go with the more talented guy, even though I don't like either one of these as a start this week. Drake London, but reluctantly.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I get on to our next football comment, I have to pull this up. Scampers what? 25 years?
It's been 15 at least for me.
What animals don't watch it every year?
Well, I mean, it's been usurped by like 15 other good Christmas movies.
No.
And actually, I'll watch the Christmas Story before I watch the Santa Claus.
Like Ralphie May last time I watched the Santa Claus.
Yeah, it was cool for a while.
The first Christmas movie we watched this year was like a week ago. It was Elf.
Yeah. I am shook right now.
It's a guy thing. I just don't care to watch Christmas movies.
I don't put any ornaments on the tree until I see Hans Gruber fall from Nakatomi Plaza.
That's how I know it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't that's a thing. But
and rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Yep.
R.I.P. Severus Snape. I don't know what to do with you people right now.
You don't have to agree with us.
That's or Keen Mitchell. There's nasty weather tomorrow. So Ryan wants to know who gets the higher snap share.
Oh, nasty.
George, nasty. Oh, you nasty boy.
We discussed this already.
Into my head.
we discussed this already. It's Keaton Mitchell for me.
Bo.
Yeah, Keaton Mitchell.
I hate when people don't use punctuation in their questions. Copper Spears Judy, PPR flex.
Who's Copper?
Who's Copper? That's another new name.
Is it Terrence Copper from the Cowboys in the early 2000s?
Or is it Copper, the fox from the Fox and the Hound?
Yeah, I'll take Todd all day. Todd over
100%. Taking the Hound, baby.
I'm assuming this is Cooper, but I don't know if it's Cup or Amari. So now I mean, I'm going to go Jerry Judy because I don't.
We're hanging with Mr. Copper right now.
Yeah. Come on, Mike. Not only did you not use punctuation, but you didn't use proper spelling. You're driving Faith crazy.
Yeah, it's probably completely intentional too, because they know that it makes their eye twitch and everything.
I freak out.
I'm the same way though, so it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, Judy does have a good matchup. So, I mean,
give me Big Booty Judy. Let's go.
The Chargers are just so bad against the pass, against the run. They're just a really, really bad defense overall.
It's a good thing Brandon Staley is a defensive coach.
Yeah, they need to bring in. Listen, the offense has some talent. We need to bring in a defensive coach to get this team right.
Yeah. Brandon Staley is to Aaron Donald what Arthur Smith is to Derrick Henry. Neither one of we would never have heard of either one of them if not for the elite player.
Oh, all right. Quincy Davis needs 2 in a flex for a full PPR. Zay Flowers, OBJ, T. Higgins, or Noah Brown George.
These are some nasty options. Quincy, I am absolutely sorry. I think
This one's easy.
I think I'm Flowers, and I think I'm going T. Higgins.
Yep.
Noah Brown put up a donut last week. I say he's the reason I got eliminated from the Scott Fish Bowl, but it's really not him. I was the coach, and I didn't play Zay Jones over him, so that's my fault. But I can't trust Odell, so I'm going to go with Flowers and Higgins.
Noah Brown cost me $2,000 last year, so I'm out on him.
Noah Brown would never make it on my roster if he cost me $2,000. I'm sorry, it's just not happening.
Exactly. Like I had a player parlay, 6-legger, and the last one was Dak Prescott over 267.5 passing yards. They went to overtime. He had 265, so he needed 2 yards passing. The very first play of overtime, instead of any one completion, he throws an out route to Noah Brown. It clanks off his hands, and it goes for a pick 6 to end the game. So Noah Brown cost me $2,000 because he couldn't. Like it literally looked like the ball bounced off of Flubber, like and bounced off his hands so violently on a 5-yard out that would have won me $2,000. Even if he dropped it and it didn't go to the defense, I would have probably won $2,000 because I needed 2 passing yards from Dak and he had the ball.
Good
so
Lord.
Thanks, Noah Brown. You're not getting an answer in this one. It's Zay Flowers and T. Higgins. Final answer. George is right.
Final answer. You don't need to phone a friend?
No.
No lifelines needed.
All right. La-da-da-dum. Jonathan Santiago says, good morning, Santiago. In a full PPR, are you going Walker or McKinnon, George?
I'm going with Walker. I can't trust McKinnon. He's done nothing for you all year. So
Kenneth Walker. Pretty easy choice.
All right. Scampers.
We did it?
No. Scampers wants to know, for defense, are you starting Detroit at Chicago or Jacksonville at the Browns, George?
Excuse me. I think I'm going Jacksonville at Cleveland.
Yep. The better Josh Allen. Give me all the Josh Allen.
The defense, Josh Allen. And also, Scampers just wants everybody to know that he feels really icky, wishing he would have started Juju.
Yeah, don't regret not starting Juju, even if he does have a good game, because nobody saw that coming.
I mean, dead clock is right twice a day, so don't feel bad.
What are you wedding, Joe? ¿Qué pasó?
What?
What? Also, Scampers. In a half PPR, pick 2. Dubs at Vegas, Singletary at the Jets, Jemo at Chicago, or Gabe Davis at Kansas City, George.
So I'm going to go Romeo Dubs, and I'm going to go Gabe Davis. The last 2 games Gabe Davis has played against Kansas City, he's only had 275 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think he likes playing Kansas City. I'm not saying he's going to go out and put up 275 and 6, but I think the odds are pretty decent. He has a better game than J-Mo and Singletary.
Oh.
If the weather was better, I would say J-Mo, but it's not. It's Chicago in the wintertime, and it's going to be rough. But Singletary's been kind of phased back since Dameon Pierce came back.
Yep.
Everybody should have seen that coming. So, George, I'll agree with you. Dobbs at Vegas, good matchup. He's been better than Christian Watson for most of the year. Watson's hurt now. Back to Romeo. And then Gabe Davis, boom or bust, pretty much every week. And he does seem to like being manned up a lot because he doesn't have to really run routes. He just has to be more athletic than the other guy in front of him. So, yeah, go with Gabe and just pray he doesn't throw up a donut.
The donuts are yummy. We have talked about Dallas Goedert several times this morning, but Caesar wants to know, would you start Goddard over Ferguson if you are starting Hurts? George?
Nope, I'm still going with Ferguson. He leads the league in red zone targets for tight ends. The Eagles have allowed a tight end touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games. Again, Dallas Goedert, first game back. Dallas has actually been pretty decent against opposing tight ends. I'm going to go with Jake Ferguson. The stack there doesn't really intrigue me.
Bo?
Yeah, you don't force the stack. The stack forces you. And if this was Travis Kelce, then for DFS purposes, of course, you'd like to stack the correlation, but you just kind of hope that the touchdown doubles up for you. Jake Ferguson is a lot better than Dallas Goedert. He's playing out of his mind right now, and the matchup is incredible. Like, Philly can't cover anybody. They could, like my old saying is, they couldn't cover a dead body with a tarp right now. And so that's basically what Dallas passing game, which is red hot, going up against a team that can't cover a dead body with a tarp. Give me all the Ferguson, give me all the CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys are going to light up the scoreboard on Philly this week. And you hope that Jalen Hurts can keep up. And I think it's going to be a great game. Go Cowboys. But I would definitely look at the stack, but it's not like you're saying, oh, AJ Brown or Jake Ferguson in a flex play. That's like we're not getting too cute with it.
Okay, that's the second time you've used the phrase something along the lines of not getting cute. And so somewhere our friend Zach Chalupa Batman is preparing a lawsuit for trademark infringement on his show Don't Get Too Cute with his daughter. Okay. So there's that.
I'm paying homage, but I'm also being kind of surly about the fact that I haven't been invited on that show yet. So
it's just Zach and his daughter.
Exactly. I love me
Don't get too cute, bro. You don't want to be on that show.
I'm not cute enough to be on that show. That's the point I'm trying to.
And then Ferguson in the same sentence. So the way my brain works is my brain finagled some things and made it AJ Ferguson, which makes me think of the Little Rascals.
Yeah, Reba McEntire.
Yep. You're a girl. All right, Jake Lewis. Start 2 in a PPR. Bijan Robinson, Pollard, Monty, or Mustard. I know you are all probably going to say Mustard is a must start. So
yes.
Who is your other person?
For me, it's Bijan Robinson. The Bucs have been top 10 against running backs on the season, but they've allowed high volume running backs to torch them. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, and future Hall of Famer Chuba Hubbard have had fantastic games against them the last 3 weeks. I expect as long as Arthur Smith can actually use the guy that he drafted, Bijan should have a good game, and he'll be involved in the passing game. And really, that's how you beat the Bucs is through the passing game with your running back.
Oh,
yeah. If you have Raheem must start, yes, you definitely must start him. And Pollard, I love Pollard, but against Eagles, it's not a good matchup. But Bijan, man, Bijan's so good. I just need Bijan to get 15 touches, and everybody will see how amazing he is. And it just seems like Arthur Smith has amnesia, like he's been hit over the head too many times. Exactly. He's like, oh, number 7. I don't even remember number 7, or I don't remember number 8 or number 5. Yeah. This guy, like nepotism, billionaire, just doing a hobby out there. Doesn't care if he gets fired because he gets paid either way. Arthur Smith should never coach football at any level. I think he's awful. And if he just gives Bijan Robinson 15 touches. That's all we want for him.
That's all I'm asking.
I hope the Falcons lose out so they can fire him and just leave him in the dust. And I hope that when he's coaching Division III running backs next year, that we'll forget about him forever.
You know why he doesn't use Bijan? He's a big history buff, is what it is. And he looks back. Well, hey, Cordell Patterson had 1,000-yard season. He's really good. Oh, look, Tyler Algier had 1,000 yards last year. He must be really good. Oh, look, Bijan Robinson's never had 1,000 yards in the NFL. He can't be very good. Let's not use him very much. That's what it is.
He's not using Bijan because he prefers French's yellow mustard. Seth wants to know, are you starting Kenneth Walker if he is not hurt, George?
Does that say Kenneth? I don't know. I think you mispronounced it.
He misspelled it.
It's Knauf.
I think you mispronounced it.
Knauf. Sounds like a Star Wars name. Knauf.
I mean, if he's not, the next says if he's not hurt, but
yeah,
Seth, I need to know over who. Like, who are your options there? Like Blanket, yeah, sure, start him. Why not? But I don't know who the other options are.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Are you in the same boat, Bo?
I think there's a lot of running backs I would start over Kenneth Walker, even if he was active. So the caveat is yes, but yeah, I would start him over.
Who's sitting on your bench that you've just,
context matters. Spelling and grammar matters. So does context,
and so does punctuation. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Bo, thank you for getting up early. Scampers, one last question. Half PPR, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, or Tajay? George.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Two of them got really well. All three of them really have really bad matchups. Miami's top 6 against the run, and the 49ers are top 3 against the run. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker only because he's the perceived starter. Therefore, you think he's going to have the most opportunity. But yeah, this is a brutal matchup for all three of these guys this week.
Give me Tajay. I have a weird feeling that they're going to give him a little bit more run after the hit they saw Derrick Henry take, even though he's an alien and aliens don't get concussed. Tajay Spears looked incredible in his absence. So that's something to look out for. I did predict that Tajay Spears in my hot takes article would have a really big game. So don't be surprised if Tajay Spears goes out there and impresses us again against a tough Miami run defense.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. He's an alien, and aliens don't get injured.
Unless you get shot down by Will Smith.
Exactly.
Or get blown up from the inside by Will Smith.
Yeah, he's an alien killer.
Basically, if you are
within
any range of
or if you're really funny and you get slapped by Will Smith.
So basically, we're all depending on Will Smith to save the world if we get invaded by aliens.
Correct.
Will Smith needs to save us.
Exactly. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again. This has been Start Sit Different Day on a Saturday because it's what we do. George, before we disappear, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter right here at the handle at GeorgeReedFF. I do fantasy content for Toilets and Titles. And I also do cover the San Francisco 49ers for Des Bryant's High Point productions that he's running as well.
Cough, cough, humble brag. Bo.
I run the Baltimore Ravens content for High Point Sports. I'm also a featured writer at Fantasy Pros. And I occasionally blog and talk about golf and drinking at In Between Media.
Wait, you guys both cover for High Point? What a coincidence!
Can we get Javier's question real quick?
Right quick. All right. Okay. Well, so first question: bench one, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Zach Moss, or Kyren Williams? George.
So I'm going to bench Austin Eckler of those three. He's been playing the absolute worst. It's just not even close. And Kincaid or Goddard, I'm still. I answered this earlier. I'm going to go with Kincaid.
Standard.
That's okay. I'm still going with Kincaid.
Wanted to make sure that you saw that little jumbo.
I did.
All right. If you have questions that we didn't get to, feel free to hit up Club Fantasy on all of the socials at Club Fantasy FFL, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Ask your questions. Any number of the team or any of the fabulous people in our community would love to help you because that's just what we do. Follow George, follow Bo, follow Women of Fantasy Football at women_FF. Have a great week. If you are relying on a win this week to make the playoffs, good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor.